Months after opening its doors, Midwest Reproductive Health Care announces it will add gender-affirming care to its list of services. While some people celebrate what they call life-saving services, others tell WIFR News reporter Sydney Stoffregan they worry about irreversible decisions and the effects on society.
For us, it's a huge deal to have it locally.
Phyllis Gallisath with the Liam Foundation recalls countless trips across the state to help people get gender-affirming care services that will now be offered through Midwest Reproductive Health.
People can easily get to the clinic.
Gender-affirming care encompasses a range of social, psychological, behavioral, and medical interventions to support a person experiencing gender dysphoria.
Whether that is HRT or just, a therapist or regular primary health, your overall health can suffer as well because you're not getting access to the care that you need.
Just days ago, the Trump administration released a review of transgender health care that advocates for behavioral therapy over gender-affirming medical care for youths.
This does not lead to human happiness.
Kevin Rylott with the Rockford Family Initiative agrees therapy should be the natural first step.
We just believe that loving people and helping them work through the challenges that we all have is a much better alternative than to be using drugs and hormones to try and change the God-given nature and body that they have.
Gallisath also advocates for therapy, but explains it isn't designed to change a person's sense of self, but embrace it.
Everyone deserves to make a choice about their life and their body and what they want to do with it and pursue happiness just like everyone else.
In Rockford, Sydney Stoffregan, WIFR News.
No date has been announced for when Midwest Reproductive Health Care will start offering these services. The clinic told WIFR they will hold an open invitation to the community to learn more about these services.